I was never a believer in things like ghosts, demons, monsters, that sort of thing. Key word was. You see, I survived something that made me realize that evil is indeed among us, and it can be found in even the most unsuspecting places. Look, my story may sound crazy, it may sound like I'm an insane person, but hopefully, some of y'all believe me. It happened 2 nights ago. It was a depressing Friday with dark, heavy clouds blocking the sun, and the wind blew leaves all over the place. I had gotten home from an overtime shift and wanted nothing more than to kick back and spend what little time I had left awake playing my favorite video game, Dark Souls 3. I made myself some dinner, ate it, hung out on my phone for a bit, before booting up my PC and loading up Dark Souls 3. I created a new character and began my journey. For the first few hours, things went about as they usually do. The storm outside had picked up a bit, and with the rain falling on the roof and the dim lights casting a nice, soft orange on the walls, for the first time that day, I truly relaxed. Another hour goes by and I get past Pontiff and was taking out the crystal lizards behind his arena when my game stuttered. Nothing out of the ordinary, I know, but suddenly there was this loud buzz and my game completely froze. Confused, I checked my PC, it wasn't overheating. I checked to make sure that all the cables were connected, and sure enough, they were. But before I could check anything else, the buzzing stopped and the game unpaused. Must be the storm messing with the power, I told myself. I got up from under my desk and sat back down in my chair, and when I looked back at the screen, my heart skipped a beat. There was a player standing a few feet away from me. His username was Snatcher 2734. He was taking the appearance of a phantom. The snow falling in-game made his ghostly appearance glow brightly. I didn't know how to approach this. In most instances, players invaded other players' worlds to attack, but here he was just standing there. Suddenly, a notification cut through the silence, making me jump a bit. I checked and realized it was a message from Snatcher. It simply said, "Want to fight in exchange for something." I wrote back, asking him, for what? "Your soul." I checked at the bottom of the screen and saw that I had a whopping 150k souls. I was going to decline his offer, but I figured I had multiple other characters, and at the end of the day, losing these souls wasn't a huge deal. So I wrote back and I said, sure. A minute went by with nothing, and I slowly started to notice that the storm outside was growing more intense. I soon got a message back from him, listing a few rules. No parries, no throwables, and you can only heal twice. I told him that sounded good, and our fight began. Now I'm not gonna lie, I thought he was going to destroy me, but to my surprise, he actually wasn't very good. Not like I'm good at PvP either, but I was able to get him to low health, and I thought I was going to win, but suddenly, he parried me. He must have had the Hornet's ring on because the critical hit killed me instantly. However, I didn't respawn at a bonfire. I was just met with a black screen. All I could see was Snatcher, just staring. I got another message. "Give me your soul." I wrote back a little bit frustrated. "No, I'm not giving you my souls, you cheated." I was expecting another message, but silence. I sighed and was about to turn off my PC and call it a night, when suddenly Snatcher came flying at the screen. I jumped in shock as he flew towards me, his face smacking into the screen. He just stared at me for a few seconds, a maniacal grin growing on his face by the second. This next part, this is what disturbed me the most. He started to headbutt the screen. With each hit, his grin grew wider and blood started running down his face. I just sat there in shock as my screen started to crack. A few seconds later, as the screen looked like it was about to shatter, I snapped out of my trance and stood up, stumbling towards the bathroom and slamming the door behind me. I sat with my back against the door, breathing rapidly as the reality of the situation hit me like a point-blank shot to the face. Suddenly, everything clicked. Everything made sense. I was an idiot. This thing wasn't after my in-game souls. He was after my soul. This thing was out to get me. As soon as that realization hit, I heard an ear-piercing shatter and the sound of a body hitting the floor. Then I heard heavy footsteps coming closer. I checked my pockets to call the police, but somewhere during the action, I must have lost it. Shit, I muttered. Suddenly, I heard a loud bang on the door, making me jump out of my skin. It was there. It was right on the other side of the door. I was trapped. The thing kept pounding on the door. Each hit was more impactful, and I realized that sooner or later the door would either fly off its hinges or splinter into pieces. I backed up against the wall, shutting my eyes tightly and bracing for the worst, when suddenly there was a clap of thunder, a loud strike of lightning, and silence. No more knocking. No footsteps, just silence. I opened my eyes, confusion starting to mix with fear. I slowly got up and opened what remained of the door to see nothing. It was pitch black, but no sign of whatever it was. I slowly walked out of the bathroom, groping the air in front of me before my hand brushed against my phone. I grabbed it and turned on the flashlight, expecting to see something horrible, but nothing. Shattered glass decorated the floor like confetti, and there was wooden debris on the floor near the bathroom door, but no monster. I tried to turn on the overhead lights, but they didn't come on. And that's when it hit me. The power had gone out, and somehow that made the thing vanish. I sighed a heavy, shaky sigh of relief and stayed up for the rest of the night, picking up the glass and the wood that covered the floor. And that's about it. I know it sounds crazy. I'm not 100% sure of what happened that night really happened, but there's a thought that comes to mind that makes a shiver run down my spine. What would have happened if the soul snatcher caught me?